Buenos días a todos los estudiantes del señor Cox y de mis clases, señora Orr. Bienvenidos a la cuarta clase. Ya tuvimos la primera clase, segunda clase, tercera clase y hoy es la cuarta clase. La cuarta clase es para el 13 y 14 de agosto. Agosto es el 8º mes. Hay mucho que tenemos que hacer hoy. Hoy practicamos otra vez el abecedario. A, B, C, D. También hoy practicamos los acentos. ¿Los acentos son importantes? Son muy, muy importantes los acentos. También practicamos los cognados. ¿Qué es un cognado? Vamos a ver a todas las cosas hoy. Es un día muy importante. Después practicamos el abecedario más porque hay una prueba oral del abecedario en Google Meets. ¿Sabes la hora que tienes que hacer la prueba? Are you wondering what the heck? What's going on? Lots of stuff to do today. Hopefully you are starting to understand a little bit of the spoken Spanish. It helps when you see the words on the screen that you hear us speak. So today, lots to do. And at the very end of class, you will go to Google Meet at your assigned time with your group, with your campfire group, whatever you would like to call it. And you will do your abecedario live for me and for Senor Cox, depending on what class you are in. We know you're ready for it. Don't be nervous. You're going to do great. Entonces, vamos a practicar una vez más el abecedario. Escuchen, por favor. I'm going to do the whole thing. See if you can say it at home with me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W or W, X, Y, Z. Do you have to go that fast when you do the quiz? Absolutely not. Can you start over if you mess up? Absolutely you can. Senor Cox and I just want to make sure you know the names of the letters. Repite. A, abeja. B, ballena. C, calabaza. D, delfín. Wait, why is that purple? Why is delfín written purple and the others? Well, let's keep going. E, elefante. Another purple one. F, what? Fruta. G, gato. I know you're repeating. H, helado. I, iguana. What's the deal with the purple? We'll find out. J, jirafa. K, koala. L, leche. M, manzana. N, naranja. Ñ, piña. O, oso. P, perro. Q, queso. R, ratón. Mire el acento. Uy, es importante. Ratón. S, sopa. T, tigre. U, uva. V, vaca. W or W, waffle. Remember, no silent E's in Espanol. You will always pronounce E when you see the letter E. X, xilófono. Y, yogur. Z, zanahoria. We practice pronunciation of these words because they're great words, food and animals, but also that helps us remember the sounds that the letters make. So the quiz today is not the sounds that the letters make, it's the names of the letters. I'll do it one more time. Do it with me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Son las letras del abecedario español. We know, Senor Cox and I know you'll be ready for that prueba for your quiz today. You're going to do awesome. You're going to crush it. So, los acentos on class 3, day 3, which was the last class that we had, we talked about the importance of los acentos. By now, hopefully you can figure out how to get those acentos in when you type. The acentos, accents, and the special characters. There are no excuses to not type them correctly into your documents or into the forms. Remember that the accent, it's very particular. It does need to be this type of accent that goes in this direction from left to right. It is not correct to do the other angle of the acento, of the accent. So by now, hopefully you have found the ability to type your special characters, upside down question marks, all that stuff, porque son muy importantes. They are very, very important. Don't forget, if you can't find the shortcut or you can't figure it out, you can always copy and paste the special characters document. So it's a good backup to always have that. Copy, paste, and put it in whatever you need to put it in. Also, when we start coming back to class and you're handwriting things, los acentos, you have to remember those acentos. So if you still are having any issues on typing or figuring out how to type the acentos, go back to class 3, and it will be in that video that Senor Cox described how to do acentos based on your device. So let's go back to these purple words that we just looked at. Delfín, elefante, fruta, iguana, jirafa, koala, ratón, tigre, waffle, xilófono. I just realized I forgot yogur. Not only are these words foods and animals, hopefully you know what they all mean by now. How can you know what they mean by now? These are cognados. Cognados are cognates. And today, Mr. Cox, Senor Cox, is going to teach you what cognados are. By looking at the list, you might have an idea of what they are. When you first were exposed to these words, you probably looked at not only the picture, but even if there was no picture, you probably could have figured out what delfín was, for sure elefante, for sure koala, for sure xilófono. So, Senor Cox is now going to talk about los cognados, what cognates are, and we will come back after Senor Cox, and I will have a fun video for you to watch. No, it's not we Spanish teachers. There will be more of us, but it's almost equally as fun as that. So, Senor Cox, I hand it over to you.
Gracias, Senora Orr. I know what you're thinking. Man, this learning a language stuff is hard. And you're right, it is hard. But today we've got help for you. Cognates. Cognates are words that mean the same thing and are very similar in two different languages. They may look the same or sound the same, and sometimes they're a little harder to spot, but you can always tell if you look closely how they're related. Let's look at some examples and see how you can spot them. Here's good news. Spanish and English share a lot of cognates. Here's one. In español, excelente. In English, you got it, excellent. Those are cognates. They mean the same thing, and they look and sound the same. Sometimes cognates are place names, like the American state Nevada comes from the Spanish word for snowy, Nevada. I guess you go to Las Vegas and it's very snowy. Makes all sorts of sense. But anyways, place names can be cognates. Foods. Lots of cognates when we talk about foods because foods get borrowed across into different cultures and their names come with them. Like the Spanish tortilla got borrowed into English as, tortilla. We even kept the pronunciation of the double L instead of saying tortilla. We keep it the Spanish way, tortilla. Sometimes languages will borrow words from each other in other things other than food. For example, the Spanish word guitarra got borrowed into English as our word guitar. Yeah, we got that from Spanish. The reverse happens too. For example, Spanish borrowed from English the word basketball, which means basketball. Lots of cognates. Let's look at a few more. Color. What's the cognate in English? You got it. Color. How about computadora? That's right, computer. And verbo. That's our English word, verb. You're starting to see, I hope, that there's lots of words that English and Spanish share, sometimes with very minor changes, and that makes it easy to identify them and know what they mean. This happens with verbs too. For example, usar means to use. Organizar means to organize. And I'm hoping you're starting to see patterns like, oh, these AR words in Spanish seem to be verbs. The equivalent of like to use and to organize. These forms that you see on the screen in front of you here are called infinitives. Let's look at some other examples. Estudiar. Here's a hint, take off the E. That's right, to study. How about escribir? Take off that E again, and you'll notice that root word scribe. Oh, to write. Notice how escribir is not a cognate with the word write, but it's a cognate with the word scribe and scribble, and that helps me to see the relation. What's a scribe? It's someone who writes. What is scribble? Oh, it's sloppy writing. So you can remember escribir means to write, even though the word write is not a cognate with the word escribir. You can find a relation. Igual is a cognate with, here's a hint for you, change that G to a Q. Equal. So sometimes cognates are not immediately and obviously apparent, but if you can start to recognize patterns, you can make connections and identify lots of words that would otherwise be a total mystery. Gobernador is one. Here's a pattern for you. The B and the V are related sounds in language. Try changing that B to a V, and you're right, it's a cognate with governor. Do the same thing here. Vaquero, change the V to a B. Buckaroo, that's actually one that English borrowed from Spanish. A buckaroo, like a cowboy. The word vaquero in Spanish means cowboy. That's where buckaroo comes from. Kind of cool. Here's a few more. Ventana, in Spanish, English version, window. Now hang on. Those aren't cognates, but if I cover up the end of ventana, what's it look like? Aha, a vent. So if I want to vent some wind into the room, then I need to open the ventana, the window. So again, sometimes cognates are, the cognate is related to a similar word, just like a vent does the same kind of thing a window does, and that's where our connection lies. Sometimes it's helpful to cover, like I did with ventana, part of the word. It makes it easier to find root words. Here's another example. Hamburguesa. Well, if I cover the end of that word, it makes it a little more apparent that it's connected to hamburger. And that's actually an example of Spanish borrowing from English. Estudiante. Again, I cover the beginning part, that E, and I can see that it's a cognate with student. España, if I cover the beginning part of that, I see that it's looks like Spain, and that's what it means. So look for root words inside of words, and sometimes it helps to cover the beginning part or the end part of a word and start to kind of sniff around. When you find a root word, a lot of times that'll help you find the cognate and determine the meaning. Watch out. There is such a thing as false cognates, words that look like they're related, but they're not. Carpeta. You might think, oh, that looks like carpet, but it's not. Carpeta actually means binder. Here's another example, embarazada. Looks like embarrassed, but don't say you're embarrassed unless you are actually pregnant, because that's what embarazada means. Doesn't mean embarrassed. Sopa. Looks like soap, but nope, false cognate. It's actually a cognate with soup. And ropa. Well, it looks like rope, but that ain't it. It's actually a cognate with robe. Ropa means clothes. Watch and you'll start to see cognates everywhere. It's kind of cool when you do because it's like your own little discovery, like putting clues together to make meaning out of something. Here's some examples on the screen of more cognates in Spanish. Each of these is a Spanish word. I'll bet you'll be able to figure out the English equivalent. Let's do a little practice. Practicamos. I'll give you a word in Spanish. You tell me the English version. Frecuentemente. Here's a hint that mente ending is equivalent to the English ly. So if you see a word that ends in mente, usually you can just say, just change it for an ly, and that makes it a lot easier to see the cognate. Frecuentemente, frequently. Ocasión. You got it. Occasion. Inocente. Yep. Innocent. How about misterioso? Yep. Mysterious. Teléfono. Telephone. Notice how the spelling can be variable, but a lot of times if you say it out loud, it becomes a lot more apparent. Probablemente. Oh, hang on. See that mente there? Change it for an ly. Probably. Oh, yeah, probably. How about fotografía? Yep, photograph. And aceptar. Oh, hang on. Remember that AR oftentimes will indicate that it's a verb. Take off the AR and see what you get. To accept. Yep. Absolutamente. Change that mente to an ly. And you get absolutely. Let's do one more. Oportunidad. Opportunity. If you cover up the ending of that, it'll become a lot more apparent. Opportunity. Very good. Let's see if you remember some of those false cognates. Embarazada. What's it mean in English? Not embarrassed. Pregnant, that's right. How about ropa? Doesn't mean robe. That's right, it means clothes. Carpeta. Doesn't mean carpet. Binder. And how about sopa? Doesn't mean soap. You got it. Soup. Watch for cognates and use them. Pay close attention. You'll see them everywhere. Super handy, super useful, and they make your life easier. And now back to you, Senora Orr.
Gracias, Senor Cox. We are back. And before we move on to the independent work part of today, I want to share one exciting thing with all of you students, mis estudiantes y los estudiantes del Senor Cox. This is an exciting part of the Spanish 1 program that we have here. And Senora Loff, she also is a Spanish teacher here, Spanish 1 teacher. We love Senor Wooly. Senor Wooly is a website, and it's grown and grown because it has become so popular. But eventually, hopefully soon, all of you will get separate logins to Senor Wooly. Let me take you to his website so you can see what it looks like here. He is, here we go. Senor Wooly has a whole bunch of educational videos in Spanish, and they're hilarious and funny, and sometimes they're gross, and they're awesome and exciting. And he just does a great job teaching not only Spanish vocabulary, but also Spanish grammar in a really super fun way. So once you get your login, we will release certain videos, not all of them, but certain videos for you to watch and practice certain concepts. So today I would like to share with you one of the videos that Senor Wooly does that has a lot of cognates in it that Senor Cox just talked about. So let me go back. The video that we're going to watch today is called Las Excusas. And right off the bat, you could look at that word excusas and think, is that a cognate? I wonder if that means excuses. If you guess that, you're absolutely right. So when we go over Senor Wooly videos, we always look at the Spanish lyrics. And you might look at these lyrics and say, what? I don't know what any of these words mean. Why are you bombarding me with all this Spanish? And we always say, just be patient and look for cognates. Look for those cognados, words that look similar in English and in Spanish. And as Mr. Cox explained, most of the time, they do mean what you think they mean. There are some false cognates out there, so you got to be careful on those. But the majority of the time, when you look at the words, they do mean what you think that they mean because there's similarity in English and in Spanish. So if we take a look, I'm going to go line by line. The first line, Maestra, no hice mi tarea de español. We've seen the word español. Most of us don't know any of these other words. Actually, I could have put in purple maestra, because that looks like the English word master or a maestro. So maybe someone who has command or someone who knows a lot about something. So that could be considered a cognate, but we do know español. The second line, lo siento, pero tengo 8 excusas sinceras. In purple, I have highlighted the cognates, excusas sinceras, sincere excuses or legitimate excuses. So something about Spanish and excuses, which is what the song is called, Las Excusas. Next line, primero mi perro la comió. So right off the bat, we recognize that word. It is not a cognate, but it's in that list of words that we've been practicing for the letter P. So you know what a perro is, something about a dog. Okay? Next, segundo, mi perro la vomitó. So there's that perro again, something about a dog, and vomito. You look at that, what word is in there? Vomit, throw up, barf, whatever you want to call it. Yes, this is Senor Wooly. He does do gross stuff like this. So something about a dog barfing. Yeah, we're heading in that direction. We're going there. Tercero, mi hermano la perdió. No words that are cognates there, no words that we have learned yet, but maybe you're sensing some sort of pattern here. Patterns mean everything. Son importantes. Patterns. Always pay attention to those patterns. You might also look at these acentos. Comió, vomitó, perdió. That for sure is a pattern as well. Let's go to the next line. Cuarto, mi mochila desapareció. Desapareció. Disappeared. Disappeared. Something about disappeared. That's a little tougher of a cognate. Maybe it's not a true cognate because the spelling isn't perfect, but you might look at that and go, not only does it have that acento, I sense that pattern, but looks almost like the word disappear. Quinto, mi vecino se murió. Probably don't know any of those words. It's okay. The beautiful thing about watching a Senor Wooly video is you are watching at the same time reading. So when you watch, a lot of times the images communicate to you what the words mean. It's a beautiful thing. Sexto, estaba en contra de mi religión. Ooh. Exact same spelling, except in Espanol, lleva acento sobre la O, religión. Yes, it means exactly what you think. And even this one I could have highlighted, contra, counter, against my religion. So far we've got sincere excuses, dogs, puking, something disappeared, religion. This is where are we going with this? Séptimo, mi carro explotó. What? Carro, take away the R-O, explotó. Holy smoke, something's going to happen. Yes, explotó is from the verb explotar, exactly what you think it probably means. Octavo, tenía gripe y fui al médico. Holy smokes, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I bet you're excited to see the visuals of this video. I am too, because it's one of my favorites. They're all my favorites. We're almost done. Maestra, le digo la verdad. Debe creerme, hablo con sinceridad. Sinceridad. Sincerity. And then I think they say otra vez. Let's see. Otra vez, which means let's do it again, one more time. So, did you see? Take a look. Not only are we trying to find those words that look similar in Inglés y Español, los cognados, look at this. Primero, segundo, tercero, cuarto, quinto, sexto, séptimo, octavo. That is a pattern. And if you think of maybe Latin or Greek roots, a lot of you have studied Latin and Greek roots. You might recognize some of those words and think, I get what's going on here. So the beautiful thing about Senor Wooly, we're going to go back to him and we're going to watch this video. Once you have your login, you will see that you can do so many things. There are nuggets, there's music, there's so much stuff that you can do, but we always encourage you first to watch it with Spanish subtitles because we want you to try to absorb those Spanish words and try to look at the images and figure out what they're saying. Later on, you can watch it with English. You can watch it with no subtitles. Look, they have pop-up. They have, so much fun stuff. So we are really excited to gift you these logins to see Senor Wooly and to explore all that he has. But right now, we are going to watch Las Excusas in Espanol. You've already seen the lyrics. You're probably wondering, we saw dog, puking, cars exploding, religion, like what's going, something disappears. So let's take a look at Las Excusas.
No. Maestra, no hice mi tarea de español. Lo siento, pero tengo 8 excusas sinceras. Primero, mi perro la comió. Segundo, mi perro la vomitó. Tercero, mi hermano la perdió. Cuarto, mi mochila desapareció. Quinto, mi vecino se murió. Sexto, estaba en contra de mi religión. Séptimo, mi carro explotó. Octavo, tenía gripe y fui al médico. Maestra, le digo la verdad. Debe creerme, hablo con sinceridad. Otra vez, primero mi perro la comió. Segundo, mi perro la vomitó. Tercero, mi hermano la perdió. Cuarto, mi mochila desapareció. Quinto, mi vecino se murió. Sexto, estaba en contra de mi religión. Séptimo, mi carro explotó. Octavo, tenía gripe y fui al médico. Maestra, a usted no le miento, porque no me cree, yo soy su favorita. ¡Clase conmigo! Primero, su perro la comió. Segundo, su perro la vomitó. Tercero, su hermano la perdió. Cuarto, su mochila desapareció. Quinto, su vecino se murió. Sexto, estaba en contra de su religión. Séptimo, su carro explotó. Octavo, tenía gripe y fue al médico.
I hope you liked it. I think it's an awesome website, and I think you will love it. Videos like that one video, believe it or not, that taught you not only cognates, it taught you ordinal numbers, primero, segundo, tercero, cuarto, quinto, and then it also taught you the preterite tense. So Senor Wooly is the bomb. It's absolutely awesome. So I will... Senor Cox and I will for sure get you those logins very, very soon. You have a lot to look forward to with that. So now we are going to shut this down, and you will do a form on Cognados, on cognates. You'll have some ABC spelling practice on quizzes, which is awesome. And then be sure to check in with your teacher at the correct time to do your quiz, your oral quiz on abecedario. Thanks, everybody. Gracias a las clases del señor Cox también. Nos vemos muy pronto. Hasta luego.